We can all celebrate some good news to come with this pandemic with the newest introduction to the Unicorn Club, an Australian company worth more than $1 billion, a private company. The latest is SafetyCulture, the workplace safety startup, has secured $60.5 million in new funding, bringing its valuation to $1.3 billion, and it's chosen to use some of that funding to reward the people that helped to build it. Chief Executive and Founder Luke Anear joins us. Luke, how long ago was it that you started it in your garage, SafetyCulture up in Townsville?
Hi, Kochie. Yeah, 2012. We were in the
Wow.
garage, myself and Alan, the other engineer, and we started building iAuditor, our app then.
Yeah. Now, for those people who don't know, just explain iAudit. It's designed for corporates, isn't it, to go through almost safety checklists within your organisation.
Yeah, that's right. iAuditor is a free checklist app. It's the most used checklist app in the world. It's used to do about 600 million checks a year. 80% of our customers are enterprise customers. So when you think of Starbucks or airlines or hotels or manufacturing plants, they're the type of people that use our products to be able to check what they're doing and maintain the highest standards.
Okay, just explain to people though, when you say it's the most used free app in the world, explain your revenue model.
So it's a freemium model, which means you can download the app for free, you can use it for free. But when you start using it across large teams and you start getting lots of users, then you start paying per user. So the idea is that you get a lot of value. You can actually use it in your business for free. Once you get to more than 5, and I think we're moving it now to 10 people, then you would start paying. But essentially, you can pick it up and use it and not pay anything. You can see what other people are building and sharing and checking in their businesses as well.
You've had a lot of successful raisings. I mean, you raised funding in your first round of $6 million. Your Series B was $30 million, and you obviously attracted some pretty big names like Scott Farquhar from Atlassian. You've just raised another $60 million now in Series C. What are these funds, particularly the most recent funding, being used for in your business?
Yeah, the main driver behind this one, Ingrid, was that the employees who'd been on this journey with me, and it's a crazy journey trying to build a tech company, they were never able to sell any of their stock until now. And so I think 8 years in was the right time for us to be able to say, if you want to sell some of your shares, you can. So they could sell up to 30% of the shares that they had. And that's become life-changing amounts of money for some people. I've got messages from staff who are, hugging their families and crying and saying to their kids that, we don't owe the bank any more money, or we've had people who are now able to start a family in this period because they would have otherwise put it off, and they now have the capital to do it. So it's been incredibly positive for the whole team.
And that's what I do love about this startup sector and the startup community, because for those people who haven't had any experience, look, to get good people, you can't pay the big dollars of the big corporates, can you? So you give them a stake in the business, and if you don't list, it's very hard for them to actually take that liquidity out, isn't it, to get an exit. So this is really a pat on the back to all those staff who forwent the big bucks of the big corporate world to back an entrepreneur like you.
That's right, Kochie. It's a big commitment to join a startup. There's a lot of uncertainty. We've had people sleeping on mattresses in the offices sometimes when we're working around the clock because we've had, issues with products and things over the years. And so we've been through a lot together. And I think as we see companies staying private for longer, we see Airbnb still, valuation probably north of 50 billion, still private. Uber was private for a long time. In the past, you would have to do a public listing in order to create some liquidity for the shareholders. And now I think with the capital that's been available in the private markets, we can create these liquidity events and sell some shares without having to become a public company, which brings a whole nother level of scrutiny as well.
So I take it you have no plans to list publicly anytime soon?
No, I'm trying not to. I get asked the question a bit, but
I bet you do.
We've got such a long way to go, and we've got a great supportive group of investors, including now Malcolm and Lucy Turnbull, who were very kind enough to scramble to help us get this round done, because it was literally Friday the 13th, a few weeks ago in March, just before the world was about to stop, and I thought we've only got hours to get this round closed, and and Malcolm and Lucy signed the documents about 10:30 at night at their place. And one of our other investors was mountain biking on a mountain somewhere. So, we had to really scramble to pull together, and the team did a fantastic job to make this happen because we really didn't know what the world would look like 48 hours later.
All right, just explain to people, how many customers do you have in how many countries, and what's your forecast for the next 12 months?
Yeah, we have about 27,000 customers, Koshi, around the world in about 80 different countries. So we touch many different sectors. And funnily enough, because we've been so broad with our customer base, our marketing and product teams have hounded me for years to say it's very difficult to market to a customer because there's so many different types. But that's actually the thing that's protected us in an event like we have today with COVID-19. And so I think, over the next 12 months, 24 months, we'll continue to build that customer base. And, we're helping customers raise their standards of quality and safety across the board. And as we come out the end of this crisis, the need for that will be higher than ever. So we're well placed to be able to help our customers through that period.
So have you found any big impacts, or are you foreseeing any impacts from COVID-19 to your business, or is it somewhat defensive?
Yeah, look, there's two things. One is there's existing businesses that are changing. We're seeing retailers, reduce their activity in store, but some of them are increasing their fulfillment centers and their delivery capabilities. So we're seeing a shift in terms of how people are working. That brings with it new risks and also new training requirements for people. So we're fast tracking our training product to be out in the next few weeks so that our customers are able to retrain those staff. And then, of course, we're seeing different sectors. Some are like, it's costing Qantas $100 million to park their planes. They still need to do a lot of checks when they park a plane, and then regular maintenance on those parked planes. And so we're seeing, different types of activities across our customers. And then some are repurposing staff and business models to adapt to what is now the new normal.
I love the way how you just dropped Qantas in as one of your big customers. Go on, show off. Who are some of the other big corporate names that use SafetyCulture and iAudit?
Look, we're in most big companies of the world, whether it be, Coca-Cola or, Toyota or, just about anything. We have customers that launch rockets into space. We can't talk about those ones, but you can guess who they are, the biggest names in that sector. We have researchers in Antarctica who are checking their gear each day down there, and we have United Nations checking security checkpoints when they set up a security checkpoint in Afghanistan. So literally it's that diverse, and the need for maintaining standards across teams is higher than ever through what we're seeing now.
Go back to the very start. How did you get the idea?
I was a private investigator. I was sitting in the back seat of a car spying on people who'd been injured at work, and I thought, this is crazy. I should do something to help these people avoid getting injured. So SafetyCulture originally started in 2004, providing training documents for Australian construction workers. And then, over time, I thought, instead of just providing training documents, maybe we could do something through the phone once that came out. And it took us till 2012 before I was able to really get something that, like iAuditor, that would take off. And that sort of evolved over time. But I think a lot of people tried to build compliance products, which are actually really boring. And we stayed away from compliance and said, we want to help you achieve best practice. And it's a much higher standard. So our focus has always been on empowering teams to do their best work every day, and not just to comply to a legal requirement. That's a minimum standard.
So now that you've already got the who's who of clients, what's your sort of forecast, or I guess your goals for the next 12 to 24 months? Is it just to continue to build that customer base?
Yeah, well, we want to go deeper into those businesses and help our customers even more. So the 600 million checks a year that are done with iAuditor, they're all manual checks that people physically go and check. So a company like Coles will go and check their refrigerators multiple times a day to make sure the temperature's right. We're now sending them out sensors, a piece of hardware. So we're now in the hardware game, where we're automatically monitoring that for them. We're shortly moving into telematics for fixed and mobile assets for all the trucks and vehicles that move around in companies as well. So we're becoming this alerts platform, essentially. So we're like the eyes and ears of what's working and what's not for these distributed teams. And we're seeing, emerging risks. We had the council in Kensington come to us after the Grenfell Tower incident and said, how do we alert our teams at 1 o'clock in the morning when we have a major incident like that? Because everybody now sleeps with their phone on silent. And
Yep.
so these kind of emerging challenges are coming through, and they're the kind of problems that we're tackling as we go further into these teams and these customers' businesses that we're helping.
Mate, it is an absolute credit to you. Just extraordinary. Congratulations again. Latest raise, $60.5 million, valuation of $1.3 billion. Started out of a garage in Townsville. It is just a great success story, great Australian success story. Luke, thanks for joining us on AusBiz.
Thanks, Koshy. Thanks, Ingrid.